I always celebrated my family's special days, but they never remembered my birthday. This year, for my sister's party, I planned a special surprise. As my mom and sister entered the living room, their faces turned pale. What? What is this? I smiled, lifted my glass, and said coldly, "For as long as I can remember, I have always been the one in my family who remembers birthdays, anniversaries, and special occasions. I'd spend weeks planning surprises, making homemade gifts, organizing dinners, and ensuring that my mom and sister felt special on their big days. I'd pour my heart into these celebrations, staying up late to bake cakes from scratch, picking out thoughtful gifts, and making sure everything was perfect. But when it came to my birthday, nothing. Every single year, it was the same. Silence. I'd wake up to an empty inbox, no calls, no texts. The first time it happened, I brushed it off, thinking maybe they were just busy, but then it happened again and again. If I brought it up, my mom would dismiss it with, "Oh, I thought you didn't care about birthdays." Or my sister would laugh and say, "Oh, Rose, you know I'm bad with dates." Yet when their birthdays rolled around, they expected me to go all out. And I did, because I loved them and I wanted them to feel special. But last year was my breaking point. A few months before my sister's birthday, mine came and went without so much as an acknowledgement. I decided to test them just to see if they would even remember. The day before, I casually mentioned, "Oh, tomorrow's a special day." My mom just nodded distractedly, and my sister, glued to her phone, muttered, "HMM." I went to bed hoping maybe they had something planned, even something small. The next morning, I woke up to silence. The entire day stretched out in front of me, empty and quiet. I waited, checking my phone every few minutes, thinking maybe, just maybe, a late text or a call would come, but nothing did. I went through the motions, pretending it didn't matter, but with every passing hour, the pit in my stomach grew heavier. By the time evening rolled around, I couldn't ignore the aching disappointment anymore. I sat at the dinner table with my mom and sister, listening as they chatted about their days, not a single word about my birthday. I forced a smile, pushed my food around my plate, and swallowed the lump in my throat. After dinner, I lingered in the living room for a bit, waiting for some kind of last-minute acknowledgement. Maybe they had forgotten earlier, but would remember now. Maybe they had a small surprise waiting, but no. The TV blared as my sister laughed at her phone, my mom scrolling absently through social media. It was as if the day held no significance at all. I excused myself and went to my room. As soon as the door shut behind me, I sank onto my bed and let the tears fall. Not because I needed gifts or a party, but because it hurt to realize that I was an afterthought. That the perusal I put so much love and effort into simply didn't think of me the same way. I replayed every birthday I had spent making them feel special, every moment I had gone above and beyond for them. And yet, when it was my turn, I wasn't even worth a simple, "Happy birthday." That night, as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, something in me shifted. I knew then that things had to change. 2 months later, my mom and sister were in full-on planning mode for my sister's birthday. They were picking out decorations, debating cake flavors, and making a guest list. "Rose, you'll host, right?" my mom asked. Something inside me snapped. I looked at them, my chest tightening with anger. But instead of arguing, I simply smiled and said, "Of course." They didn't even question it. The day of the party arrived. My mom and sister were giddy with excitement, expecting the usual balloons, decorations, a beautifully set table, and an elaborate cake. Instead, they walked into a dimly lit living room. There were no decorations, no music, no presents. Just a half-melted candle on an empty table and me, sitting there with a glass of wine. My sister stopped in her tracks. What is this?" she asked, her voice rising. I took a slow sip of my wine and gave her a cold smile. "Let's enjoy your special day." My mom's face turned pale. Is this some kind of joke? Rosie, I shrug. I just figured I'd put in the same effort you all put in for my birthday. Thought you'd appreciate the fairness. The silence that followed was thick and uncomfortable. My sister's face turned red. Are you serious? You're ruining my birthday because of some petty grudge. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, so birthdays are important now. Interesting, my mom huffed. This is childish, Rose. You should have just told us if your birthday meant so much to you. I let out a humorless laugh. I did. Every year. I proceed you'd remember. Every year I drosip hints. Every year I was disappointed. And yet you expect me to go all out for you like always. Why should I be the only one who cares? My sister rolled her eyes. Oh my God, get over it. You're acting like a victim. I set my glass down. You know what? Maybe I am. Maybe I'm done being the only one who puts in the effort. Maybe I'm done pretending it doesn't hurt when my own family forgets about me. At that moment, my mom and sister realized I wasn't joking. My sister's eyes welled up with tears. So what? You just wanted to embarrass us. No, I said calmly, I wanted you to feel what I've felt for years. And if that makes me the bad guy, so be it. My sister stormed out, slamming the door. My mom stayed behind, shaking her head. I just don't understand why you couldn't have talked to us. I gave her a long, hard look. I did, Mom. You just never listened. After they left, I felt something I hadn't in years. Relief. For once, I wasn't the one left feeling forgotten. Later that night, my brother, who also gets ignored on his birthday, texted me. I wish I could have seen their faces. You're my hero. My dad, who's divorced from my mom and actually remembers my birthday, called to say he understood why I did it, but proceeded gave them a wake-up call. Now my family is acting like I'm the villain for ruining my sister's birthday. But honestly, I don't feel bad. I'm just done being the only one who cares. The aftermath was predictable. My mom called the next day, her tone exasperated. You've made your point. Are you happy now? I hesitated, then answered honestly. I don't know if happy is the right word. But I feel lighter, she sighed. We'll do better next year. I wanted to believe her. I really did, but deep down, I knew better. Some lessons only stick when they hurt, and I wasn't sure they had truly felt the sting yet. A week passed before my sister finally sent me a text. No apology, no acknowledgement of my feelings, just, Rosie, you're over your tantrum. I want to plan my belated party for next weekend. I stared at my screen, my stomach twisting, the audacity. For the first time in my life, I typed out a simple response, no. Then I blocked her number. I wasn't playing their game anymore.